Have you ever stopped to wonder why it feels so hard to break free? The system we live in is designed to keep you exactly where you are. If you don't change something today, tomorrow will be no different. And I know this because I've been there, living paycheck to paycheck, constantly asking myself, how am I going to pay the bills this month? But let me share a secret that changed my life. You don't have to play by those rules. I decided to break the cycle, and it was the best decision I ever made. Over the next few minutes, I'll show you the 5 strategies I used to completely change the game. And here's my promise. If you stick with me until the end, you'll never look at your future the same way again. Ready to start? Let's break that cycle together. Poverty isn't just a financial condition, it's a system. A system that teaches you from an early age that surviving is enough. Wake up, work, pay the bills. Repeat it all until the end of your life. It's like running on a treadmill. You expend all your energy but never move forward. And here's the worst part. This system is designed that way. It feeds off people trapped in debt, spending whatever little they have just to survive. Banks, companies, governments, they all profit when you're too busy struggling to survive to think about thriving. But here's the truth no one tells you. The game only changes when you decide to change. It's not about luck, inheritance, or magical opportunities. It's about strategy, action, and consistency. I know what it's like to feel like the odds are stacked against you. But I want you to understand that there's a way out. Breaking free from the poverty cycle begins with the realization that you can rewrite the rules. Now, let me show you how to do that. Let's start with the foundation of it all. Cutting expenses and saving for emergencies. If you want to change your life, the first thing you need to do is stop spending more than you earn. It seems obvious, but this is where most people get stuck. It doesn't matter how much you earn. If your expenses exceed your income, you'll never move forward. I remember the day I decided to track every single expense. It was uncomfortable, almost humiliating, to see how much I was spending on things I didn't really need. But you know what was even more shocking? Realizing that with just a few adjustments, I could save way more than I thought. Start small. Create a simple budget. Identify your essential expenses, housing, food, transportation, and cut out everything that isn't absolutely necessary. Yes, it's a sacrifice. But think of it like planting a seed. Every dollar saved is a step toward financial freedom. And here's the most important part. Build an emergency fund. Even if it's just enough to cover 1 month of basic expenses, having that cushion will give you the security to handle life's surprises without relying on credit. That's how I started. My first goal was to save $1,000. When I hit that goal, I felt unstoppable. Cutting expenses is the first step because it gives you control. When you control where your money goes, you start to realize you can do so much more with it. Now that you're saving, it's time to focus on the next level. Increasing your income. When I was stuck in the poverty cycle, one thing became crystal clear to me. The money I was earning wasn't enough to cover the bills and build the future I wanted. That's when I realized that if I wanted to make more, I had to become more valuable. The market doesn't pay for your effort, it pays for the value you bring. So ask yourself, what do you know how to do today that's worth more than what you're earning? And if the answer is, not much, then it's time to learn. The good news is that it's never been easier to acquire new skills. There are free courses, tutorial videos, and online tools that teach everything, from programming to practical skills like sales or digital marketing. You don't need to spend a fortune to get started. I personally began studying at libraries and watching free videos, and the knowledge I gained paid off in ways I never imagined. But it's not just about learning. It's about applying. Identify what's in demand in the market and dedicate time to mastering those areas. A new skill can lead to a promotion, a better job, or even a new income stream. In my case, learning about sales was the game changer. It taught me how to understand people, create value, and close deals, and the results came quickly. Don't underestimate the power of a new skill. When you master something that the market values, doors will start opening. Now that you're earning more, it's time to tackle one of the biggest enemies of financial progress, debt. Debt is like invisible chains holding you in place. As long as you're in debt, a significant portion of your efforts will go toward paying interest, not building your future. And believe me, I know what it feels like to work hard and watch your money evaporate by the end of the month. The first step to getting out of debt is to face it head-on. List everything you owe, from small loans to credit cards. Don't fool yourself into thinking that ignoring your debt will make it disappear. When I started, I made sure I knew exactly how much I owed and to whom. Only then could I create a plan to dig myself out of that hole. One strategy that worked for me was the snowball method. I started by paying off the smaller debts first, while making minimum payments on the larger ones. Each debt I paid off was a victory, a weight lifted, and it gave me the motivation to keep going. Another key point, renegotiate your debt. Many creditors would rather receive something than nothing, and you can negotiate more favorable terms, like lower interest rates or extended payment periods. Use that to your advantage. And of course, avoid falling into the trap of taking on new debt while you're still recovering. Back then, I learned that easy credit isn't always your friend. Often, it's the biggest enemy to anyone trying to grow. Getting out of debt is liberating. When I finally paid off everything I owed, it felt like a whole new world opened up for me. My money was finally mine, and I could start investing it in my future. Now that you've got your debt under control, it's time to adopt habits that help you maintain sustainable financial growth. No one builds wealth while mentally and physically drained. I learned often the hard way that health is an essential pillar for financial success. When your body and mind are running on empty, you make poor decisions, waste opportunities, and lose money. One of the first habits that transformed my life was waking up early. Not because it's some magical rule, but because it gave me time to think, plan, and get organized. Use the early hours of your day to take care of yourself, exercise, meditate, or simply organize your priorities. Another crucial habit was cutting out wastefulness. This applies to both money and health. Reducing impulsive spending is just as important as avoiding habits that drain your energy, like sleepless nights, poor diet, or addictions. I found that by taking better care of my body, my productivity skyrocketed, and that directly translated into my ability to earn and manage money. Financial health begins with healthy choices. When you're in good shape mentally and physically, financial decisions become clearer and more rational. This balance is what separates those who build wealth from those who just survive. Adopt the mantra, taking care of your health today is an investment in your financial future tomorrow. Now that you've built a strong foundation, it's time to take the next step, expanding your financial independence. Let me tell you something that completely changed my perspective. While you're working for someone else, you're building their dream, not your own. Don't get me wrong, jobs are important, especially in the beginning. But if you want financial freedom, at some point, you'll need to create something of your own. I started small. At the time, I still had a regular job, but I used my free time to test out ideas. I sold products online, offered freelance services, and learned everything I could about entrepreneurship. These modest ventures eventually turned into something much bigger. Being self-employed or an entrepreneur doesn't mean quitting everything overnight. It means building a side plan. This gives you flexibility, new income streams, and the ability to no longer rely solely on an employer. And you know what's amazing? When you start your own business, you realize you're learning skills that no one can take from you. Management, sales, planning. Even if you face challenges, and you will, it's the learning that's invaluable. It doesn't matter if you start by selling homemade cakes, offering consulting services, or starting a YouTube channel. What matters is that you start. My first business was small and full of mistakes, but it was there that I built the foundation for what I have today. Financial independence isn't just a goal, it's a lifestyle. When you take control of your income, you don't just transform your reality, you create a legacy. Now, let's wrap up the cycle with a clear, inspiring vision for your future. Take a moment and look back. Today, you've discovered 5 strategies that can change your financial life. Reduce expenses, increase your income, get out of debt, adopt healthy habits, and expand your independence. These are the same strategies that transformed my journey, and now they're in your hands. But here's the truth, knowing the way is not enough. It all comes down to the actions you decide to take from now on. You can stay on autopilot, living in a cycle that wasn't made to benefit you. Or, you can start today to rewrite your story, even if it's just with small steps. Remember, no one is going to hand you the life you deserve. You have to build it. And it doesn't matter where you come from or what challenges you face. If I can do it, you can too. I'm living proof that effort and strategy can overcome any obstacle. Now, I want you to ask yourself one simple question. What will my first step be today? Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Because every day you put off taking action is another day spent living under the rules of a system that wasn't made for you to win. The future is in your hands. Choose to break the cycle. Choose to be the exception. And above all, choose to believe that you deserve more. Because you do.